Okay guys, today we're gonna make some raised planter beds. So I'm gonna go over all the materials that you guys need to make that happen. First off, I have 2x12 wood back here. See, so this is 2x12, right? 2 inches thick by 12 inches tall. Just the cheapest 8-foot section I could find, so that's 8 foot long. Then I have a piece of 2x4 wood here too. I got a miter saw, a drill, impact drill bits. I also have 3-inch screws and 2.5-inch screws. I'll probably use a combination of both. It's important to remember that I forgot. Oh, that you get deck screws. Don't get sheetrock screws or wood screws. Get deck screws. Deck screws last longer. They won't rust, especially since these will be for planter beds. You're gonna be getting wet daily, right? So it's a good way to spend your time right now when you're home, right? Tending the garden. Got some gloves in case I need them. Maybe some of you guys need them. I probably won't use them, but just in case. What else? Safety glasses, of course. I also bought some Kellogg. This all natural outdoor soil. So what they mean by that, it's not potting soil, so you actually need something else to mix it with, another medium. So you got to use dirt or soil from your house to mix it with, not dirt, okay? Soil from your house to mix it with. It goes 50-50. So don't think you can just buy this stuff and use it straight. If you want to use something straight because you don't have any soil in your house, then buy potting soil. It's a lot more expensive. I think this bag was like, I don't know, $3 or $4, maybe $6, but it's 3 cubic yards. In the back, we have more 2x12. I don't know if you can see it. Those are for the sides. This one here, we're going to cut in half at 4 feet. And then I also have back there cardboard. So instead of buying expensive mesh that goes on the bottom for blocking weeds, or instead of using plastic, which can really mess up your garden because it doesn't breathe, you can just use cardboard on the bottom. It's a good weed block. Also, if you get some nice worms going in your bed, it'll feed them and give them, it'll help out the worm population inside your garden bed. I think that's about it. So if you don't have a miter saw, you don't have any drills, don't fret. You can always just use a regular hand saw, hammer, and 2.5-inch galvanized nails to do this project. It doesn't work as good, but it gets the job done. But because I have the tools, I'm going to go ahead and use them. If you want to use a circular saw or a jigsaw instead of a miter saw, that's great too, right? It just depends what you have at your house. So do a little research, look in your garage. If you don't want to go to the store, you can also order all this stuff online and then have Home Depot drop it off at your door. Okay, so I'm going to make these planter beds pretty easy. They're going to be 8 foot long by 4 feet wide. These boards are 8 foot long. So at 4 feet, I'm going to measure and make my mark. You can tell nobody likes picking up the phone at my house. Okay, here we go, 4 feet. It's been a long time since I used this miter saw, so I forgot to unlock it. Oh, there we go. Sliding part is unlocked. So So it needs a little bit of trimming, but basically it's cut in half, ready to go. So I cut myself 4 pieces of 2x4. These are going to go in the inside corners just for additional support. What I'm going to do right now is drill some holes for the 3-inch screws that are going to connect this piece of 2x12 to this piece of 2x12. I'll probably just screw in probably all 4 screws. I'm using, let's see what size drill bit this is. It's 7/64 or 3/32. When you drill these holes, the hole should be pretty much the size of the screw. The screw can either fall in or just barely the threads. You just want the threads just barely to catch. Don't drill that size hole into this piece of wood. I'm only talking about this end cap. And the reason for that is the head of the screw is what's going to keep the end cap onto the longer piece of wood. It's not the screw itself. You don't need any threads to grab a hold in this piece of wood. In fact, if you look at these screws carefully, they don't even have any threads near the head. That allows the screw to spin inside the wood and bring it closer to this long piece. So we'll go ahead and screw those in next. These are, again, 3-inch deck screws. Just line it up like that. Get my impact gun. I'll do the bottom one and then move to the top one just to make sure it's lined up straight. Yep, lined up nice and straight. Do the 2 middle ones. Looks good. So what I'll do next is move on to this corner, do the same thing. The 2 other corners, do the same thing there. But while we're here, we'll grab this 2x4 and I'll show you what I want you to do. I want you to put this 2x4 in the corner like this. And then drill your holes in here. And drill your holes in here and attach it to this 2x4. And this just for extra strength. Again, I'll use 3-inch screws when I'm drilling in this way into this 2x4. Wrong one. Okay, now we're going to put some additional screws in on this side, and then you just want to kind of look at where you put these screws in at, right? Make sure you don't drill a hole and then you're going to be hitting screws, right? So offset it a little bit. And I'm not drilling all the way through, okay? I'm only going about 1.5 inches deep. Here's where you use the 2.5-inch screws. If you use a 3-inch, they might go through the wood and be poking out on the other side. And that's it. I'm going to repeat that same process for the 4 corners. Alright? So 3-inch screws, 2.5-inch screws, and and then the 2x4, and that's about it. Upon closer examination, I said, man, this side's really got a nice set of screws going, and this side's only got 2 screws in it, kind of holding it in. So I'm going to put in a couple more screws here. Let's see, probably about right here. I don't think it'll hit, hopefully. That'll make a nice solid corner right there. So just because I know one of you guys is gonna say it, Chief, what about checking with the square? So here we go. Let's see. Woo! So you can use this thing here called a rafting square to check for squareness, or you can use this big guy here called the carpenter square, right? Check for squareness, and it's on. Right? With this one you can check on the outside too and check for squareness. Honestly, the plants aren't going to care whether or not your your raised bed here is square or not. They'll grow just the same. But just in case there's any square snobs out there, thought I'd throw that in. So see? Not a bad dude, huh? So this is what the final product looks like. 3-inch screws, 2.5-inch screws. Make sure you use deck screws, not sheetrock screws. 2x4s in the corner for reinforcement, and then check the squareness by using a rafting square or a carpenter square. What else? Oh, and you don't need any weed block at the bottom. Just put some cardboard, right? If the cardboard sticks out of the box a little bit and onto your grass or onto wherever you're putting the box, that's fine. So just use cardboard on the bottom, let it stick out a little bit, and then you can fill it with your dirt medium, whatever that may be. All right, that's it. All right, guys, your assignment for this video is to give me one form of PPE that I showed in the video, and your second part of your assignment is to give me 2 examples, 2 names of equipment that I used in the video. And the last part of the assignment is to tell me one thing that you would have done differently.